Pedalling technique is always a controversial subject among cyclists. Is smoother better? Should we try and pedal more smoothly, or should we just leave it up to instinct and our bodies will find the most efficient way naturally? Well, we thought we'd try and do a little experiment. We are at the headquarters of Elite in northern Italy because they have a pedalling analysis app that utilises some of the mind-boggling array of data that's generated by their top-of-the-range smart trainer, the Drivo. And two top pro cyclists, Marcato and Federico Zurlo, are just about to walk through that door. Do pros pedal smoothly, and does it really matter? We're going to do a simple test to really get a feel for just how smoothly they're pedaling, and we're going to gauge it using the Elite Pedaling Analysis app. It gives us a real-time polar view, which you can see just behind me there. It's measuring the force that Marco is putting out 24 times per pedal stroke. The more even output, the smoother the pedal stroke. So to start with, they're going to be riding at 150 watts. We should tax them greatly. Federico, in particular, is probably going to be cursing his luck that he's in the middle of his off-season. But then they're going to up it to 300 watts for a minute, before finally 450 watts for a minute. At the end of each interval, we're going to get a number, which is the uniformity index, and that should categorically show just how smooth they really are. Marco, you ready?
Yes, ready.
Let's go. Smooth, I think. Smooth. Federico, you ready?
Yes.
You ready? Right, so 150 watts for 1 minute. Let's go for it. I feel like a mad scientist standing here making them ride at 450 watts. Now, before we delve too deeply into results, as you can probably tell, I can't resist and I'm going to have a go as well. Clearly, I don't have the talent of the other two, but potentially there is a chance that I might be as smooth as the other two. Fingers crossed. Who's going to win the Crystal Crank Trophy? Right then. Okay, so on the 151 now, a few seconds in. $300 watts. Okay, 450 then. 3, 2, 1. Whilst we're collecting loads of data, what about flat pedals? Well, in the spirits of data collection, I think what we should also do is check out a few people back at the GCN office on our own Drivo trainer. We let everyone select their own cadences to minimise any external influences on pedalling technique. The resistance levels on the trainer were also constant, so that the inertia of the flywheel remained the same. Right, we're back at GCN's HQ. Since our trip to Italy, 10 willing volunteers, and also Matt, have undergone the same test. Well, I say the same, actually. After seeing Marco Mercato's face when we asked him to do 450 watts for a minute, we have lowered the target powers ever so slightly. Except for Matt, actually. We made him do 450 watts for a minute as well. What have we seen then? Well, fascinatingly, or at least I think so anyway, our pro cyclists seem to have a lower uniformity index, so a less smooth, even pedal stroke than our less experienced volunteers. If we rank our cohort, then we can see that Federico is 7th out of 14, Marcato is 13th out of 14, Matt is 12th, I was actually 5th, which is smooth perhaps, but now not looking very pro. So why then might we have observed these results? Because if anything, it certainly seems that actually pedaling through the dead spot of a pedal stroke isn't terribly important, because there is definitely a negative correlation between performance and also pedaling uniformity. So I guess the first point should be to look into what pedaling uniformity is, because it's the ratio between the average power of a pedal stroke and the maximum power on a pedal stroke. Now, it would be impossible for a human to put out 100%, so elites say that from their research, a value of about 65% could be considered super smooth. So when our pros are pedaling in their less smooth way, what they're effectively doing is putting out more power on the downstroke and then less for the rest of the way around the pedal stroke. Except there is one thing, and that is that we can't differentiate between positive force and negative force using this test. So effectively, we can't split the difference between pushing down and then unweighting on the back of the pedal stroke, meaning that Marcato could, in theory, actually be pulling up on the pedal stroke, which would explain why there is that greater discrepancy between peak power and average power per pedal stroke. And actually there is a research paper out there that tested Pro Cyclist and found that they too pulled up as well as pushed down far more than the other cyclists that they tested. And actually if you look more closely at Marcato's results, you'll see that as he puts out more power, his pedaling technique becomes less uniform. So in theory then, as he's putting out more power, he is pulling up more on the pedals. Now, that's controversial. What you can definitely say is that he is not scraping through the bottom of his pedal stroke. If you remember though, I actually did try a run with flat pedals instead of clipless pedals. So if that theory was true, you would therefore expect to see a less uniform pedal stroke with clipless pedals than with flat pedals. Is that what we saw? No. No, when I did a run with flat pedals, then actually I had a less uniform pedal stroke, so giving a more conventional result, but not necessarily the one we would have expected right now. Although that is unique to me, and really in hindsight, we should have tested Marcato as well. What a topic. It's like Pandora's box, isn't it? We can certainly say that from our sample pool of data that our professional cyclists did not pedal more smoothly. Now, we can't say why they pedalled the way they did, but you could certainly theorise, couldn't you, that with the greater performance and with the greater experience, they have refined their pedalling technique. Now, whether that is to include pulling up as well as pushing down, or just pushing down with greater force and then recovering for longer in each pedal stroke, we don't actually know. So, more science will be needed. Then what about that question about whether you should try and pedal more smoothly? There is research out there that shows that it could well be beneficial, but certainly here at GCN we are big advocates of playing with your cadence in training, so doing low cadence work and also high cadence work can be really beneficial. Also we think anyway. Now, undoubtedly, the comment section should light up on this one, so please do make sure you get involved. This is a controversial topic, as we said, and also our results have been somewhat surprising, so let us know what you think down below. Please also make sure you subscribe to GCN. To do that, just click on the globe, and if you want to watch a couple more videos, well, firstly, if you want to see around the elite headquarters, which is very cool, and they have their own blast furnace, that one is just down there, or for a very old, but video I'm very fond of, it's all about pedaling cadence. Are you more efficient at one than another? That one's just down there.